My name is Paul Manstrom, Associate VP for Facilities Management at Kalamazoo College, and I sat as part of the design committee during the design of the building, and then I served as the owner's representative and dealt directly with the architect and the builder during construction. The building is a Kalamazoo College building owned by Kalamazoo College on the Kalamazoo College campus proper. There's a New York Times article, Architectural Record had a reporter up here a week after the New York Times did. Architecturally, the building has made a statement. There's a couple reasons to do wood masonry. Essentially it's a modern or a contemporary application of a traditional construction method. The original design and the design work on the original concept, which was renovating the existing building on the site, started in about September of 2009. The design work on the actual building as we know it now began very late summer, early fall of 2010. Construction didn't start until December of 2012 and wasn't substantially complete until about 22 months later. So it was a very complex building, originally looked on as probably a 12-month construction project. It took a little longer than we had planned.
My name is Robert Morris. I'm a senior superintendent with Miller Davis Company. I was a site superintendent for the project at Arcus Center. As a site superintendent, I oversee all construction activity throughout the life of the span of the project. I worked with on K College campus before at the library, and then Paul is the construction administrator who I deal with daily to resolve any issues or to coordinate activities from K College, as well as with the construction activity, as well as the community that surrounds the construction site.
Miller Davis was the construction manager. They self-performed the concrete work and the general rough carpentry type stuff work. But as construction manager, we involved them very early, and they did some of the, helped us with the early budgeting and constructability issues. Original project, what was going to be done was that house, the Hoven House, was going to be renovated and become the Arcus Center, fully funded by a donor. We worked with a local architect to come up with a design to renovate it into the new Arcus Center to serve the purpose that the existing building is serving. It was a couple small additions and a lot of gutting and redoing. And while the resulting conceptual design was pretty nice, the donor really wanted to make a larger statement with the building to bring attention to the program that his foundation was also funding. The thing that makes it most special is the signature exterior cordwood masonry of the building. When the college, along with the donor, decided that let's do what we can with the existing building and build something new to make a statement, the donor also instructed us to find an architect that had a fairly national reputation, one that's, that reputation was for creativity and groundbreaking designs. Ended up choosing Studio Gang out of Chicago. The charge to Studio Gang by the college and the donor was to come up with a really unique design, and they were not limited to the Georgian architecture that you see elsewhere on campus. No, it was a real interesting process. Cut the log, put it up, cut it again, cut it another time, set it. I mean, the college purchased all the cedar directly, and then shipped it to Miller Davis, and Miller Davis devised a way to cut it into the mostly 11-inch lengths that were used, and then to palletize it so that there was a random assortment of them, so the masons could, you didn't have any repeating patterns, anything. Masons could put them up, kind of like, almost the same theory as different shade bricks when you want to mix them up. That was a difficult process because, the angles are different because it comes to a point and getting everything mitered right and even. Campus entrance, where you have a, kind of a concave or convex shape coming into the doorway there, forming the doorway, and then the ocular window on Academy Street, where you have a convex wall meeting a concave wall, and then the window being at the joint where they meet. Studio Gang actually found a person in the U.S. who is a cordwood masonry expert. A number of people from the college, from Miller Davis, and from Studio Gang went to a class early on in the design process up in northern Michigan. The
cordwood installation, that's just the first time in a commercial aspect, I believe, that was ever constructed. We had to actually train the mason contractor. We actually had to have training at our yard, then build mock-up walls to make the tradesmen aware of how to actually construct this.
When we started construction, we held another class here in Kalamazoo for the masons.
All projects have a unique aspect to them, however, and certain challenges to them. This project is unique from day one all the way through until finish. Like I said, having to overlay multiple trades and disciplines in order to make sure, before you even can start construction, to make sure you can start putting foundations in. This project, I had to have a surveyor on site basically daily.
It was a very complex design. This was more a plan based on geometry. There were 680 pieces of structural steel that make up the frame of the building. No two are identical. A lot of the pieces of steel are curved. Some are curved in two planes.
I brought my son when we first started, usually show him what project I'm working on now. And it was about a year later, and he was at 13 at the time. And he's seeing just some steel up. He goes, "What do you mean? This is as far as you got? What have you been doing out here?" Which is good. But just the coordination, and everybody, all the different disciplines got along pretty good. And we had good tradesmen. And if it wasn't for them being conscientious of making sure of the true intent of the drawings, that, they weren't just coming in here getting their materials in place. They were actually taking into consideration and thinking about the other trade, but also, is this actually the true intent?
I'm pretty proud of what happened up there, and what the product that was turned out, and how everybody I worked with, the many people I worked on the project, somehow got through all the difficulties and disagreements that come up in something like that, and kept things moving forward, and we got finished. So I think it's going to be a building that serves the college well. I think it has already served the donor's intent in bringing attention to the social justice leadership program that's in the building. Christine Hahn, Carol Anderson, Jamie Grant, the architect, Jeannie Gang, Todd Zima, Miller Davis, and Studio Gang, High Tech Electric, Suburban Mechanical, AGM, Architectural Glass and Metals, Builders Iron, Lamar Construction, Bauma Benton, H&H, B&B Masonry. It was a challenge, and I think it was probably financially challenging for most everybody involved too. But most of the people involved, were kind of some adrenaline going on because of the challenge. I think they enjoyed the challenge. I think almost to a person, the people involved in constructing the building are proud of what happened and what they came up with in the end.